Qur'an and Sunnah is a saying attributed to the Islamic prophet Muhammad, namely, "I have left among you two matters by holding fast to which you shall never be misguided, the Book of God and my Sunnah." It is an often quoted saying regarding the sources of Islam. The authenticity of this hadith is rejected by many Shia. The concept itself is not rejected, as most Muslims hold that Islam is derived from two sources, one being infallible and containing compressed information, the Qur'an, and another being a detailed explanation of the everyday application of the principles established in the Qur'an, the Sunnah, or the living example of Muhammad. Basis of Hadith. Hadith literature refers to the oral tradition about the words and deeds of Muhammad. The statement that Islam has these two sources has been attributed to Muhammad. The Sunni Muslims accept this attribution as Sahih and hence a hadith, whereas the Shia Muslims reject this as being mawdu, and not of separate hadith, arguing that nowhere is it recorded in the 6 authentic books of the Sunnis. The hadith in the 6 authentic books are generally accepted as authentic throughout Islam. The Quran and Sunnah hadith is reported in other books as having been said during Muhammad's farewell sermon atop Mount Arafat after his last pilgrimage. Slightly varied versions are cited in many Sunni hadith works. Among those are Al-Jami li Akhlaq al-Rawi by Al-Khatib, Sunan al-Daraqutni, Sirah al-Nabawiyya by Ibn Hisham. John Esposito explains the importance of the hadith in Islam. The Prophet Muhammad is seen as the living Quran, the embodiment of God's will in his behavior and words. Sunni Muslims take the name from the Sunnah, meaning those who follow the example of the Prophet. Professor Fatih Okumus refers to Muhammad as the walking Quran, with the Sunnah giving an example to follow. Shari'ah. As the sayings and deeds of Muhammad were reported via many different sources, there was disagreement about what constituted Sunnah, and how that affected what should be Shari'ah. In the 9th century, al-Shafi'i took the view that the Quran superseded Sunnah, but that Sunnah could not supersede the text of the Quran. In this he rejected the version of the above hadith that said the Quran and Sunnah were equal sources of guidance. Others, notably Ibn Kathir in his book Al-Bidayah wal-Nihaya, took the reverse position that Sunnah's later revelation should take precedence over the Quran. Sunni and Shia agreement and differences. Both Sunnis and Shias accept the authenticity of the related hadith of the two weighty things. In this hadith, Muhammad referred to the Quran and Ahl-Bayt as the two weighty things. Although the hadith is accepted by both Sunnis and Shias, the two groups differ on the exact wording of what Muhammad said, as well as how to interpret these words. The Shias use the hadith of the two weighty things to prove the claim that Muhammad meant for all his successes to be from his own family. The Sunnis reject this view and believe in a different interpretation of this related hadith. The Sunnis and the Shias also disagree about what constitutes the Sunnah. Sunni view. The Sunnis generally accept this hadith, but narrowly define Sunnah as the sayings and deeds of Muhammad, although some include the implied approvals of Muhammad. This hadith is considered Sahih by the Sunni, as stated by following scholars: Hakim al-Nishaburi, Ibn Abd al-Barr, Ibn Hazm. Shia view. Shias reject this hadith and deem it to be a fabrication designed to distract from what they deem to be the real saying of Muhammad, the hadith of the two weighty, precious things. Since the hadith about Quran and Sunnah was said by Muhammad in front of the larger gathering during his farewell sermon, and the hadith about Quran and Ahl-Bayt was said by Muhammad in front of the smaller gathering at Ghadir Qum, The Shias believe that only the Hadith of the two weighty things is authentic. At the same time, Shias do agree with the meaning of the Hadith, even if they deem it a fabrication. The Shias believe in following the Sunnah of Muhammad, but they say that this is only possible via the Ahl-Bayt. The Shias believe that Muhammad said Hadith al-Thaqalain multiple times in multiple settings in multiple wordings. They argue that Muhammad said Hadith al-Thaqalain at Mount Arafat during his farewell sermon at Ghadir Qum in the Mosque of Medina, during his last illness, and at many other places and times. The Shias believe that Muhammad said this hadith so many times because he wanted to stress how important it was that the Muslims only take his own descendants as leaders. The Shias believe that this hadith is mutawatir, meaning that it has been related so many times by so many people that there is no doubt about its authenticity. The Shia claim that this hadith is the most authentic of hadiths, claiming that it has been narrated by over 35 companions of Muhammad. The Hadith al-Thaqalain is used by the Shia, among other reasons, to support the belief of Ali's succession to Muhammad. Shias view this hadith as a clear indication that Muhammad wished to keep the matter of leadership within his own family, starting with his cousin Ali. They believe that Muhammad was clearly indicating that only the Ahl-Bayt have a right to authority and leadership. It is based on this claim that the Shias reject the first three Sunni caliphs, most especially as legitimate spiritual leaders of the Ummah, referring to them and those who put them into power as usurpers, because the Shia believe that Muhammad said Hadith al-Thaqalain on many occasions. The Shia have many different versions of what Muhammad said. One such version corresponds closely to what the Sunnis also believe in. Muhammad said, "One of them is the Book of God and the other one is my select progeny, that is family. Beware of how you behave them when I am gone from amongst you, for God, the Merciful, has informed me that these two shall never separate from each other until they reach me at the paradisal pool. I remind you, in the name of God, about my Ahl-Bayt. I remind you, in the name of God, about my Ahl-Bayt. Once more, I remind you, in the name of God, about my Ahl-Bayt." The Shias, however, also believe in other versions of the hadith such as, "I have left with you something, which if you strictly adhere to, you shall never go astray, the Book of God and my progeny." Quote, "I leave you two weighty things. If you stick to both you'll never go astray after me, the Book of God and my progeny." Quote, "I am leaving for you two precious and weighty symbols that if you adhere to both of them, you shall not go astray after me. They are the Book of God and my progeny, that is, my Ahl-Bayt. The Merciful has informed me that these two shall not separate from each other till they come to me by the pool." Quote, "It is these latter versions that more strongly support the Shia interpretation that Muhammad intended to keep the leadership of the Muslims within his own family and the idea of Ali as the rightful successor of Muhammad. Moreover, unlike Qur'an and Sunnah, which is nowhere to be found in Sahih of the six authentic books of Sunnis, Qur'an and Ahl-Bayt is found therein. Yazid b. Hayyan reported, "I went along with Hussein b. Sabr and Umar b. Muslim to Zayd b. Arqam, and as we sat by his side, Hussein said to him, 'Zayd, you have been able to acquire a great virtue that you saw Allah's Messenger listen to his talk, fought by his side in battles, offered prayer behind me. Zayd, you have in fact earned a great virtue. Zayd, narrate to us what you heard from Allah's Messenger.' He said, 'I have grown old and have almost spent my age, and I have forgotten some of the things which I remembered in connection with Allah's Messenger. So accept whatever I narrate to you, and which I do not narrate, do not compel me to do that.' He then said, 'One day Allah's Messenger stood up to deliver sermon at a watering place known as Qum, situated between Mecca and Medina. He praised Allah, extolled him and delivered the sermon, and exhorted and said, "Now to our purpose. O people, I am a human being. I am about to receive a messenger from my Lord and I, in response to Allah's call, but I am leaving among you two weighty things, the one being the Book of Allah in which there is right guidance and light, so hold fast to the Book of Allah and adhere to it." He exhorted to the Book of Allah and then said, "The second of the members of my household I remind you to the members of my family." He said to Zayd, "Who are of the members of his household? Aren't his wives the members of his family?" Thereupon he said, "His wives of the members of his family. The members of his family of those for whom acceptance of zakat is forbidden." And he said, "Who are they?" Thereupon he said, "Ali and the offspring of Ali, Aqil and the offspring of Aqil and the offspring of Jafar and the offspring of Abbas." Hussein said, "These are those for whom the acceptance of zakat is forbidden." Zayd said, "Yes." Quote, "This hadith is explicit about who are counted amongst the members of Muhammad's family, namely, not his wives as many have argued, instead, linking his family ties to Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib.